So today we will be looking at iroiro, iroiro in the color neon green, and this one says it's UV reactive, which my camera usually doesn't pick up the UV light very well, but maybe I will try and film it later on in the video with my phone afterwards. So a quick rundown of what's going to happen. Firstly, my swatches are labeled 1 through 12. I'm missing a nail, please don't judge me. 1 is a dusty, almost grayish blue. 2 is pink. 3 is a natural red. 4 is black, and then from 4 to 11 we have a range that goes up to platinum blonde, and then number 12 is kind of like a toned version of the platinum blonde. I'll be putting the dye directly from the container on the top of each swatch, and then some people do like to see the dye diluted, so I will be diluting it down the strand as we go, and I will let you know the measurements for that. Also, I do just want to say that I can't guarantee that however this dye turns out on my swatches is how it's going to turn out on your hair. You know, everyone's hair is different, so everyone's hair will take dye differently. I just recommend that you use this video more as a reference point as to what it could possibly look like on your hair. So I think what I'm gonna do is equal parts on the center, and for me that'll be 1/4 of a teaspoon of the dye and 1/4 of a teaspoon of diluter. And for the ends, I'm going to do a mixture of 1/4 of a teaspoon of dye with a 1/2 a teaspoon of diluter. So quickly, I zoomed you guys in so that you could kind of see this better, but I wanted to talk about this really quick. So if you see this happening on my swatches, it's pretty much because of how I have to apply it. I try to like make their distinct lines, but usually because of the diluter, it just can't get enough pigment down here and up here. So I don't know if it's possible. Try to like block out that and then you can kind of see how nice the center looks. I know it can be a little bit distracting seeing this, but either way, I do just want to stress that if you do see that, it's not the dye itself being patchy, it's more or less the way that I have to apply it to get it how I want it. And that does happen in some of my other videos, and I don't know if I should start talking about this in each one that it happens, because I don't want people to think that the dye is patchy. I kind of just, I want us all to be on the same page. So I guess maybe in the future I'll keep repeating it. I just don't want to have to, but maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna let these sit for like 3 hours. I will rinse them out, and then once they're dry, we can come back and we'll do some comparisons. So I did say earlier in the video that I wanted to see what these looked like under the UV light since they're UV reactive. OMG. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Okay, even the diluted parts are just as reactive. Oh my gosh. So that's cool. Even black is the only one that didn't really take any dye. But even number 5. Oh my god. Okay, so now I get why it's called a neon green. Even, it's so weird to me how like, even the diluted parts, they look completely the same when you shine the light on top of it. So I have to admit, I really didn't expect this dye to be so dark on the top. Not that it's like crazy dark or anything, but I did expect it to look a little bit more like this part directly out of the container. But that does give me another option for comparisons. I was only going to do Electric Lizard from Manic Panic, but I think I'm going to compare Lime Crime's Jello as well. I think Electric Lizard is also UV reactive, so we can look at that under a black light as well. So in normal lighting, number 5, you can very, very barely see a difference. Like maybe if you had the color of number 5 and you tried the neon green, maybe you would see something, but I don't think the average person would. But it's pretty cool that the UV lights still react. So that tells me that number 5 did absorb something, whereas number 4, since it's black, it didn't absorb really anything. So this is going to be Manic Panic and Electric Lizard. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, number 10, number 9, and number 8. I'd like to compare these under a black light as well. I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay. So surprisingly, I feel like you really can't see a huge difference between the two under the black light. The Electric Lizard does look slightly more yellow, but if there were 2 people standing in a room not right next to each other, I don't know if you'd really be able to tell the difference, under the black light at least. And then on to the other green that I've done so far, which is Lime Crime in the color Jello. This is comparable to number 12, 11, 10, and 9. So when comparing it to this one, the neon green actually does look a little bit more neon. Jello is not UV reactive. You can tell here. I also think Jello performs best on the lightest hair swatch. And when you dilute the Jello, it almost starts to look kind of minty on the ends, whereas the neon green keeps that more like neon, bright, vibrant look. Now that we've done our comparisons, let's get into the close-ups. I do have a link in the description below for a request form. If you have any requests, feel free to put that in. That gets submitted directly to me, and then I just organize them from there. But commenting is totally fine as well. I hope my video helped, and I hope to see you in the next one.